This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for March 11, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, nurse killed in Manchester. Police launch a manhunt for spouse. Police have launched a manhunt for a Manchester taxi operator following the stabbing death of his spouse at their home in Newport on Friday night. Police named the deceased woman as 28-year-old Shade Sherian Brown, a nurse employed to a private medical facility in Mandeville. A senior police source told the news that about 8:30 p.m., Brown and her common-law husband had a dispute at their home in Daly's Grove, Newport. According to the source, it is alleged that the man used a knife to inflict several wounds to her body. She was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. The man reportedly fled the scene. On Thursday, Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson expressed a concern about domestic violence while addressing a town hall meeting in Mandeville. People have quarrels with each other over land, over fence, over a pair of Clark's shoes, $100, bottles, and so we had a situation where a father sold the bottles belonging to his son and he was murdered. So when you start to see that that's something that the police respond to, we won't even know about that there's a problem or conflict like that until it happened, Anderson said. He added, however, sometimes these conflicts, persons in the community know about it, but sometimes they say, well, it's not really my business, so we don't really tell the police because we probably don't want to get involved in it. But sometimes if you reach out to the police, then we can actually do an intervention before it becomes a serious crime, said the commissioner. Statistics from the police show that up to March 5, Manchester recorded 11 murders since the start of the year when compared to 5 for the corresponding period last year. Teen boy found dead in St. Anne, father arrested. A St. Anne father has been taken into custody as the police probe the death of his son. The 14-year-old was found dead at the gate of their house in Inverness district. He has been identified as Cashway Nevers. It is reported that the teen and his father were at a wake in the community and they were later seen leaving the event. Residents subsequently stumbled upon the boy's body at his gate and the police were summoned. The residents went in search of his father, who was located and handed over to the police. The 59-year-old mechanic was taken into custody. 2 homes destroyed in West Street blaze. 17-year-old Norman Manley High School student Janique Hugh had completed her English and Social Studies school-based assessments just hours before her house caught fire on West Street, Kingston yesterday. The disaster started about 8:30 a.m. and with it transformed her feelings of accomplishment into fear and frustration as neighbors shouted for help. Inside her room, however, the choice was clear: retrieve her laptop and the school supplies or save her 4-year-old baby. For the young mother, the decision was a no-brainer. They told me that the fire was in the house top, and that was when I ran around and grabbed my little baby and my brother, said Hugh, describing how the flames crackled above her head in the ceiling. I just panicked, and by the time I reached outside, the entire house just blazed up. I lost my laptop, my phone, and all my baby's clothes. She lost her uniform, her tablet, everything. I don't even know how I'm going to start over, because it's next week Wednesday that the teacher told me that the English SBA is due. I'm hoping I can talk to them, she continued. Firefighters from the York Park station said that no one was injured in the blaze, which completely razed the 2 homes in the gang-torn area of West Kingston. 20 people and their children were reportedly burned out, but the first responders could not say the cause of or estimated damage caused by the fire. Residents, however, blamed illegal electrical connections, which are rampant in the community. As firefighters cooled down the smoldering wood and the concrete structures, residents milled about saved furniture, littering the roadway outside. Dressers without drawers, 2 old stoves, and a handful of clothes were among the salvaged items. Yesterday, Justice of the Peace Claudine Cunningham and Joseph Witter, councillor for the area, walked among the fire victims, retrieving information on their predicament. Witter was fearful that, despite being alerted about the fire, political representatives, as he said they have done in the past, would play politics in offering assistance to victims. These people need assistance immediately. The Member of Parliament has been notified. The only issue is that I wouldn't like them to play politics, he said. I don't want them to just neglect these people. One nearby house burned down already, and nothing happened because they were playing politics. So with this one now, I just hope that will not be the case, he charged. 59-year-old Adassa Vassal lost everything except for her 95-year-old mother Enid Powell, who was reportedly helped out of the burning building by residents. Yesterday, Powell thanked God to be alive while her daughter cried inconsolably for items she lost in the fire. According to Vassal, she had been purchasing appliances to move into a house recently built in a rural community. She had just returned from a doctor's appointment to see her house completely engulfed. Me lose my microwave and a new fridge, a new machine, and my bed when me buy the other day. I lose my dresser, wardrobe, and my 2 TV them, she cried, her elderly mother offering comfort. Nearby, another resident, Charmaine Muir, begged passers-by for whatever they could give to help buy fabric to remake her granddaughter's school uniform. Missing out on school was not an option for her, Muir said. Youth Minister confirms the departure of Rosalie Gage Gray from Child Protection and Family Services Agency. Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams has confirmed the departure of Rosalie Gage Gray as Chief Executive Officer of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency. In an interview with the news, Mrs. Williams said an interim CEO is in place. The Youth Minister disclosed that the Public Services Commission is in the process of selecting a suitable candidate to replace Mrs. Gage Gray. The news reported last month that Mrs. Gage Gray had been separated from the agency based on the recommendation of the Public Services Commission. This followed the damning report by the Office of the Children's Advocate on the CPFSA's engagement with Carl Robanks, founder of the charity Embracing Orphans. No official word had come from the Ministry of Education and Youth on the matter, however, prompting 3 civil society groups to call for an update on Mrs. Gage Gray's status and the progress of investigations into the operations of the CPFSA. Raising mandatory minimum sentence for murder could result in fewer guilty pleas, says Sykes. Chief Justice Brian Sykes has expressed a concern that the move by the government to increase the mandatory minimum sentence for murder may reverse gains made by the judiciary to reduce the backlog of cases. Justice Minister Delroy Chalk has brought 2 bills to Parliament to increase the mandatory minimum sentence for murder. Under the proposed amendment, people who plead guilty to murder will have to serve a minimum of 30 years before becoming eligible for parole.
The gains that we have made in terms of clearance rate and so on, I expect to see reverses in that, especially with the rural circuits. When we spoke about the rural circuits, they sit 9 weeks for the year or 12 weeks for the year. So what are the things that can happen in the meantime? Witnesses, unfortunately, may pass on. Witnesses may migrate. The exhibit may be, all of those things that count in my favor, if I'm a 21-year-old. So it suits me to go to trial, because the longer it takes, the chances of things going wrong increase as well.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.